Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy, Forza8585. Welcome back to another career Forza Motorsport 6 video. Today I believe I've got 4 races for you. First race being on the Nürburgring. The GP circuit's in the pissing wet. This one is a nightmare, but it was the first time I did a setup on this McLaren, and in all honesty it was quite good. He says. Loses the back end a bit there, but other than that it was brilliant, really was. I've kind of found a little secret to tuning vehicles on this game. Okay, obviously I've got a lot of my setups on the marketplace now, you know, and I keep getting 10 to 15 downloads per day for when I come on. But if you want to find out how I do my setups and you know how I race and why I'm so good, what I can do is I can do a video on how to tune a car on Forza Motorsport 6. Compared to Forza 5, 4, 3 and 2, everything has changed, the dynamics have changed, the suspensions are all different, not the same. Camber affects actually the tyre temperature, when on Forza 3 I believe it didn't. Little secrets and facts like these, you know, that can really help you to switch on when tuning vehicles in the game. Today I do apologise, it's going to be more towards the tuning side of Forza Motorsport 6 than the gameplay. The gameplay's there just to sort of give you something to watch while you hear my dull, boring voice. Anyway, what else saying? Tuning, camber. Camber is very important for grip. Okay, negative for grip in corners, straight, well, positive camber for pretty much braking and you know, sort of coming out corners for the traction side of things. I'm very, as you can see there, very good with the throttle. You can spin it around and drift it in and drift it out. So I set mine for very, very heavy camber. It says to start at 0.5. Fuck off, you dickhead, you don't know what you're on about. Go to something like 2.7, 2.8 on the front, and then 2.4, 2.5 on the rear. You'll find a huge difference, trust me. This one, I've got to apologise, this one is Glenrock. No, it's not. Lime Rock. This is Lime Rock. But, as you can hear, there's no sound. The recording system had a bit of a mare recording this one. And I do believe the next race as well. But either way, you know, I do apologise. It's one of them. It's a good race, bear in mind. It is a very good race, but at the end of the day, you know, there's no sound, so I do apologise. But tuning, camber, we've just cleared that up. Toe in, toe out, I usually have it 0 and 0. And caster, this is, I think, another surprise as well to people. Have it at 6 or 6.1, I'd say, with all that negative camber. And you'll see such a significant increase in your lap time, well, decrease, I say, in your lap times. Your times will go down because you'll have that much grip in corners, you won't even fucking realise it, you know. So, but it makes it stable and easy to control too. Anti-roll bars are very, very difficult to understand. The best thing to do is start with a lot of front anti-roll bar. Just touching the tyre wall there. A lot of front anti-roll bar, other than, and then on the rear put, you know, say 26 on the front and 20 and I don't know, 14 on the rear. Okay, your car will probably understeer going in and coming out. Literally, all you do is keep taking, say, 1.5 to 2 off the front, and then adding 1.5 to 2 on the rear. Whatever you do to the front, do to the rear, but in the opposite way. So if it's still oversteering, going into corners and coming out of corners, mainly coming out of corners, increase the front to decrease the rear. Okay? If going into corners, it's literally just wants to go straight on and it's ploughing forward, decrease the front, increase the rear anti-roll bars. And keep working with that until you find a setup that's working for you. Eventually, you'll get to a point where, like with this, I can pin it out of corners, and it will go forwards, but it'll turn as well. It's hard to explain. You'll get the sensation when you're driving, but it's very hard to explain. Once you get it down to a crisp, there's me coming to lap zone, by the way, and this is just the last lap. Just thought I'd show it you. You know, there's nothing to it. It's just me crossing the line. Race number 3, Road at Atlanta. Again, no sound. Apologies for that. But where are we now? I don't know how to rock balls. Rebound system. Fucking hell, this is the bane of my life. Rebound. It's a very hard one to get your head around, the rebound. In my eyes, the best way to do it is have the front greater than the rear, because if there's more front rebound, it's more understeer. Okay, like going into corners and stuff. You want to have more. It's easier to tune a car that's got understeer than it is oversteer, because understeer is very easy to sort of counteract. Okay, oversteer is fucking hard. So I'd say put 8.4, 6 and 6.7 rebound stiffness, and then bump stiffness, the one below it, put about, I don't know, 3.8 and 3.4. Okay, you'll have a very sort of might be a bit skittish, but going over curbs and stuff, it won't sort of like ping you up in the air and do cartwheels, and it'll be good for you. Okay, so I recommend that. This is just a base setup, so you know, if you get a pen handy, write it down. Where are we now? Brakes, I usually put them around, there's me using the throttle as a genius, spinning it out that corner, no dramas whatsoever for me. I personally use on braking about 48 to 47% towards the front, so basically just put 47. It's more towards the back than it is the front, okay? Because I do a lot of trail braking into corners. It just means I get that I can just turn it in, whereas front bias is more towards heavy braking and stop-start corners, but I like to trail brake. Differentials, whatever you do, do not put them both at 100. Don't put any of them at 100. What you want to do for acceleration, if the lower you have it, a single wheel will keep spinning. Okay, so if you think about it as a traction control system, so if you've got it as 0, the acceleration on the differential, if you've got it at 0, what will happen is as soon as it loses traction that slight bit, it will spin the wheel. Not because it's designed to do that, it's just because it's got nothing to stop it. It hasn't got the other wheel's grip to stop it. Okay, the more percentage that you add onto that differential, the greater the increase of traction that you'll get. Okay, don't get me wrong, 100% is not going to double your fucking traction. Don't get that in your head. What I'm trying to say is that if you've got, I usually put it around 30, about 40 for normal powered cars, but for things like Bentleys and things with £600 worth of torque and shit, I put about 55, 60. Because if one wheel's spinning, you're going to understeer, if that makes sense. Whereas if they're both steering, you're going to oversteer. I know it kind of contradicts, look out for an overtake, go up around the outside. I know it kind of contradicts what I've just said about understeer being easier, but oversteering helps you get around corners on the throttle. When you're going into corners, you want to be understeering, because then you can help that. You can just simply just go bosh, just like that. Big increments, and then find the sweet spot for the roll bars, etc. Differential's a different story, okay? That's scope. Skim that out at Ford there. Skimmed him. But that's what I'm saying. That's what you want to do. Is what you need to do. You need to just keep tweaking. You could after the next corner, just keep tweaking. You'll get that perfect setup for you. Takes me about 5 to 7 minutes to get a perfect setup for me. Deceleration. Whatever you do, don't put this high. Race 4, this has got sound, you'll be glad to know. I'm in a lime green McLaren 650S, I do believe. Won it in one of them spins. I was like, you know what, I'll rep it. I'll give it a go, and it's a good car. Very tight turning car, as you can see there. What was I saying then? Deceleration, yeah. What a nightmare. Deceleration is how quickly the back wheels lock when going into corners. Okay? So if you've got hardly any torque, you literally need 5%. Okay? If you've got lots of torque, the highest I recommend is 45. Again, I'm talking rear wheel drive Veyrons. Things that just aren't seen. The higher it is, the more stability it gives you on the deceleration. However, that could be a bad thing. Because as I said, you want a bit of instability. If it's too stable, it'll just want to go straight. If it's too unstable, it'll just want to face the a 90-degree angle. You've got to keep it at that sweet spot. Coming to the end of it now though, boys. Any advice, any comments, any thoughts, let me know in the comment section down below. You all know what to do. Like, rate, comment and subscribe. You've been your boy as 8585. Any queries, let me know. Peace out, boys.